Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily. Take a listen to this. Zack Snyder's Justice League was 2021's most tweeted about movie. Well, knock me down with a feather. So are we getting more of Zack Snyder's Justice League and Snyderverse? Not right now. I mean, we'll talk about this after we read this article, because I really want to go into this article by Rachel Abernathy of Screen Rant. But this really exposes what a bum organisation Warner Brothers Pictures is. I don't care if you don't like the man. There's an audience for his films, but you refuse to let him finish his arc. It's absolutely ridiculous. But we'll carry on. Superheroes largely dominate the list of Twitter's most discussed movies of 2021, but one comic book epic reigned: Zack Snyder's Justice League. The Twitter stats are in, and Zack Snyder's Justice League has come out on top as the most tweeted about movie of 2021. The Snyder Cut saga has endured many ups and downs over the years, but 2021 finally brought it to a triumphant close. Close? Anyway, where are we? I've lost my place now. Yeah, here we are. After helming early DCEU installments Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, Zack Snyder pushed forward with his 5-movie arc and begun production on Justice League in 2016. However, following a family tragedy, blah, 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 he stepped away from the film and was replaced by Joss Whedon. Should we correct Rachel here? Due to Warner Brothers putting so much pressure on the man to change the movie and turn it into an MCU fucking shield fest, and because his daughter died, he didn't have what it took inside him to fight them. If not for his daughter's suicide, I'm sure Zack would have stayed and fought. And Joss Whedon was there while Zack was there. This is a Richard Donner, the movie Superman 2 situation. As has now been revealed by various figures associated with Justice League, most notably Cyborg actor Ray Fisher, Whedon was abusive and unprofessional on set. I mean, probably most directors are, to be honest. Probably Whedon took it a bit too far. Nevertheless, it was his Justice League that arrived in theatres in late 2017, and it was a vastly different cut than what Snyder had intended. Fans quickly began to call for the release of Snyder's version of the movie, and over the next 3 years, the Snyder Cut movement would grow to be far more than a handful of fans tweeting online. Last year, Warner Brothers finally greenlit the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it arrived on HBO Max earlier this year. It's fitting that a movie that drummed up so much conversation before it was even allowed to be released is now the most discussed film of the year. On Thursday, Twitter data released a thread of various stats for 2021 and revealed Zack Snyder's Justice League was the most tweeted about movie worldwide. It came in ahead of Spider-Man No Way Home, which we'll talk about. Eternals, Black Panther, Black Widow, The Suicide Squad, June, Godzilla vs Kong, Shrek, and The Batman. Batman's actually the bottom of the list at number 10. Yes, I'm quite surprised about that, but that shows you, the power of the Snyderverse. It's just sensational. Snyder fans will likely take this achievement to heart. Clocking in at 4 hours, Justice League had no shortage of major moments to discuss, from the long-awaited debut of Darkseid Ray Porter to the nightmare epilogue that would have set up future installments. Even after Justice League debuted, there was further conversation surrounding those initially planned sequels. Fans have been calling for Warner Brothers to reinstate Snyder as a creative figure within the DCEU, so he can complete his original arc. Right now, that still seems unlikely, but it's clear that Snyder's Justice League had a major impact on this year. But Snyder is still involved in the other movies, creatively. I can tell you, he's involved in a roundabout way, in the Flash movie. They're using some things from his sequels. Wonder Woman 3 is going to use some things from his sequels, and I think even Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is going to use things from his sequels. So he's still there creatively. Now this is kind of a concern because we want to see these Justice League movies, so we'll see how that develops and how much of this, what I'm hearing, is true. It's rather impressive to see just how many comic book movies made it onto Twitter's 2021 list. It's not actually, Rachel, to be honest with you. They're the only fucking movies in mainstream cinema right now, so what do you expect? All but 3 belong to either the MCU or the DCEU, showing just how prominent they remain in the current cultural zeitgeist. And yet, even as audiences flock to Superman and Black Panther over and over again, there's still a whole lot of love for Shrek. Well, Shrek's a fucking amazing franchise, you know, especially 1 and 2, love them, which had its 20th anniversary this year. Justice League stood above them all, but there was plenty to discuss this year when it came to movies. Was there, Rachel? Was there a lot to discuss apart from June and Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, 2 of the best movies, as I said on yesterday's DCEU Daily, I have ever seen in a creatively bankrupt era of cinema, and let's be honest about it, aka Santa Inc. Anyone seen it? Anyone heard about it? By the way, a quick word on that before we get back to the DCEU in this, right? I want to tell the writers and producers and the person who had this weaponized, negative, dark idea of doing Santa Inc. Everyone around the world, no matter what colour their skin is, what part of the world they come from, how they identify as, dress up as Santa Claus and is accepted by society, and they make children happy. Nobody is telling anyone of any colour or any ethnicity that they can't be Santa. We are now in the 21st century, and the year upon, let's not say the year upon Lord, because I'm not very religious, the year upon Superman, because that's where my faith is, Superman, the year upon Superman 2021, when we are in a new era of acceptance, and it's not about accepting anything. Anyone of any background can dress up as Santa. So I don't really know what you're talking about. It just shows you how bankrupt you are, that you're even trying to ruin and weaponize Christmas. Anyway, back to today's DCEU Daily. Spider-Man Far From Home is the most anticipated movie of this year. After Zack Snyder's Justice League, of course. Obviously, right? The proof's in the fucking pudding. So, everyone's going mad for Spider-Man No Way Home, right? But Zack Snyder's Justice League was the most hashtag spoken about movie of the year. The MCU is a powerful, popular franchise IP, but even those films can't compete with Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. Meanwhile, over at Warner Brothers Towers, Ann Sarnoff earlier this year, just as the Snyder Cut was about to be debuted on HBO Max, said that she was happy they allowed Zack to make his trilogy and that she had no plans to release the Air Cut. Do you see? Do you see that these people are not fit for purpose? Do you actually trust them moving forward, let's say starting from next year, to create a cohesive DC Extended Universe? As I keep on saying every day, I'm excited for next year's 6 movies. They're hopefully going to be fucking awesome. But do you trust people who see something like Zack Snyder's Justice League? We're not just talking about the most talked about film. We're talking about in the top 10 of a Variety critics. Variety. Variety is one of the hugest entertainment magazines and sites. It's been going, I don't know, since the 50s, 60s, in the top 10 of the movies of the year. IMDb have got it in the top 10 as well, I think. I think Zack took a screenshot and put it up on his Vero account. So Zack's so proud of all of this. And he's proud of us because he knows without us, the Snyder Cut would never have been on HBO Max. But without Zack making this epic, brilliant, one of the greatest movies of all time, fact, we would have had nothing to fight for, thanks to his charity and his human, his humanity. And he made a 4-hour epic. Didn't you grow up as a kid? If someone came to you from the future as a kid and said, guess what, guys? There's going to be a 4-hour Justice League, right? And Steppenwolf's going to be in it, and Darkseid's going to be in it, and we're going to meet elements of, Apocalypse and the new gods. What would you say? You would have said, oh my God, I've got to stay alive. I'm going to eat my fruit. I'm going to eat my vegetables. I've got to see this 4-hour Justice League movie. But these bums said, no more, Zack. Because we don't like working with you. Not because we don't like you as a person, because we don't like the fact that you don't want to make popcorn chomping, chewing gum that runs out of flavour quickly, or the sandwich you take a bite of and move on kind of movies. We want MCU films. We want bright colours, Zack. Don't you understand, Zack? And I'm saying you can have those movies and you can have the Snyderverse as well. Evidence before, when they were trying to hide the fact the Snyder Cut existed, they were saying it's just a minority of people. Nobody else wants it. Lies, 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 lies. Imagine having your head severely up your backside so deeply, right? Do you realise how embarrassing this is to Warner Brothers Pictures? This exposes them. And the longer they sit there going, we're not doing it. We're not restoring the Snyderverse. No, we're not restoring it. But Anne, look, I don't care. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. End of story. The longer this carries on, the more embarrassing it's going to get. Millions of people around the world love the Snyderverse. We're not asking for it to be in the central universe. It's easy. I've explained how it can be done. Just reveal in one of your other movies, right? One of your MCU rip-off movies, that, the Snyderverse was actually from a parallel universe, and it was never in the central universe. It's easy. Feige would have done it just like that if he had to. Anyone with any creativeness, any imagination could do it. There's a way of doing it. It works. Millions of people around the world want it, and the evidence is there. Journalists want it. Famous people want it. Us fans want it. So I really don't understand what your problem is, right? David Zaslav is coming, right? Discovery is coming. They're going to sack you, Anne and Walter. They're going to sack you, Toby. Green light this movie, this franchise. Let him finish his arc. There's money there. I'm going to say that Zack Snyder's Justice League is probably the most profitable movie of 2021. And alongside June, probably their most profitable movie, all in, when you look at what they've done. What it did through sponsorship and subscribers on HBO Max, then digital copies, then hard copies, then they even released a trilogy. You do realise that trilogy couldn't have happened, that trilogy box set was only released with the good graces of Warner Media. Why did they do that? Because no one was going to buy it. You can't even get a copy. I had to wait ages to be able to buy Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut on 4K. Ages. It was not available for ages. And when they told me I could have it, I thought I was getting a gold bar sold to me. A 4-hour Justice League movie. Jesus Christ. That gave me a bigger boner than seeing an Instagram woman in a bikini jumping up and fucking down. It's everything to a DC geek and a DC nerd. And I know some of you, like me, who are looking forward to next year, even some of you who say to me, Mick, I don't like Zack Snyder. I know you've admitted you like Zack Snyder's Justice League. And with that means you're happy for the Snyderverse to be restored as long as what you're looking forward to in the central universe isn't canned for it. And that's absolutely fair enough. DC should be a place of different palettes and tastes. And that's what I've been fighting for on this channel. To have a bright and bubbly central universe, but have Zack Snyder's alternate universe continue. His Elseworld. Even Zack was suggesting this after the Snyder Cut had been greenlit. Even he's not demanding that, everything else gets canned for him. He wouldn't do that. So there's an audience. is one of the most popular films of 2021. It probably is the most popular film, right? Again, I want to explain to you, I know this is repetitive, but I have to explain to you. You know how big the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, right? Where, I mean, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier couldn't even, get more conversations than this film. The MCU films couldn't get more conversations than this film. Not even June. The upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home, that's the biggest. That's the biggest kind of sit yourself down and sign off on Warner Brothers Pictures. What do they do now? Just after the Snyder Cut was released, we had a trend of 1 million for Restore the Snyderverse. And just shortly after that, well, that was a reaction actually to Ann Sarnoff's Variety hit piece, if you remember rightly. And she was giving a lot of shade to us as well, saying DC's got to be about more than one fandom. And I admit it, that's right. So you can have the Snyderverse, but you can cater to these other fans, like you're doing next year anyway. Restoring the Snyderverse doesn't get in the way of that. So, Warner Brothers have got to think again, very quickly, because we're going to talk very shortly about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom wrapping. It's finished filming now. It's ready, and we're going to talk about that and how they seem to be rushing out these films and finishing them very quickly. It's almost like they're nervous. Should we check this out, right? Because this is all connected to restoring the Snyderverse. So let's go to this article. Here we are. Let's click on it. I was going to pause, but I said, I'm on a roll. Let's get on with it. So if we can get there. So here we are. Aquaman 2 has wrapped filming, confirms Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa announces Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has officially wrapped filming. Nearly 1 year ahead of its December the 20th. Sorry about that. So, officially wrapped filming. Nearly 1 year ahead of its December 2022 premiere date by Rachel Labanotti. Oh, we're spending some time with Rachel again. Anyway. Jason Momoa confirms that at long last Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has officially wrapped filming. Though the first Aquaman was a box office smash when it first premiered in 2018, its sequel has taken a considerable amount of time to get going, currently scheduled to premiere in December 2022. The latest DCEU installment, centred on Momoa's Arthur Curry, started production this past summer in London under the direction of James Wan. Returning from the first installment though, filming big blockbusters during the coronavirus pandemic can be tricky. Nope. Sorry, Screen Rant. Again, I know you keep on going along with this. It's not actually tricky. Yes, it's a bit more difficult. It's a bit more challenging. But all they do, right, is make sure everything's clean, a bit more clean. Everyone washes their hands. And they get the actors 2 weeks in. They test them. They keep them under conditions so they can't mix with other people. It's done, and they wear masks when they're not shooting. That's it. It's pretty straightforward if you ask me. Anyway, so where are, yeah, so started production this past summer in London under the direction of James Wan, returning from the first installment. Though filming big blockbusters during this coronavirus pandemic can be tricky. Aquaman 2 avoided any major issues, though Momoa did admit he got injured quite a bit on set. Goes with the territory, and he enjoys it anyway. Plot details for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom are still being kept tightly under wraps. Well, we've actually uncovered on this channel quite a bit in the past few months, haven't we? So, very exciting. Tightly under wraps, but as the title indicates, it will dig deeper into Arthur's underwater world. Several major players from the first film are returning for this new movie, including Amber Heard, controversial, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Dolph Lundgren. Additionally, Aquaman 2 has a handful of newcomers attached, such as India Moore, Johnny Zhou, and Pilu Adbeek. Aquaman 2 already demonstrated signs of nearing the end of filming, but it wasn't clear just when it would end. Now Momoa has confirmed production has wrapped. The actor posted a couple videos on his Instagram stories via comicbook.com to celebrate the occasion and to share his excitement for what's to come. Momoa said, "Oh man, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Aquaman 2, I have so much to share with you. I wish I could tell you so much. What an epic day. I love you. So good to have been home to finish this. So many good surprises. Love you, and it's been a long time. I'm taking a break. Aloha. Well deserved, Jason. What a lovely man Jason Momoa is. A family man, friendly to the fans, helped us to release the Snyder Cut very publicly in defense of Zack Snyder. Great man. Lundgren recently confirmed he had completed his work on Aquaman 2, and now the rest of the production has followed suit. Presumably there will be some reshoots in the coming months, probably more pickups and reshoots, and there's a big difference, by the way, like there are for virtually every blockbuster, but the bulk of filming has come to an end. This is good news for fans who have been burnt too many times in the past year by constant movie delays. Well, to be honest with you, Rachel, you know, they're coping with shooting in the COVID pandemic now. They know what's going on. You know, vaccines are out there now. You know, obviously we've got this variant that is going to cause a few problems, but like all the other variants, we will get through it. This is good news for fans who have been burned too many times in the past year by constant movie delays. Assuming the DCEU doesn't require a massive rescheduling and movie theatres are still up and running, Aquaman 2 should be able to make its late 2022 release date without issue. That should make next December very interesting, since James Cameron's Avatar 2 is slated to arrive on the same day. You're not telling me the Warner Brothers have got the balls to release Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom on the same day as an Avatar sequel we've been all waiting for what? The past decade? If they don't move it, and I think that they will, they have balls, or whatever other kind of genderized tools they've got, of solid rock, because that's huge. I don't think it's going to stay to this date. I think they're releasing this film earlier. It's finished very early. It's interesting. With Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom now moving into post-production, hopefully more details about the plot will emerge soon. Many of Momoa's castmates have praised the script, with Lundgren and Abdul-Mateen especially calling it better than the first movie. Making Aquaman 2 even more special is Momoa's own work. Not only is he starring in it, but he had a hand in crafting the story. As we move into 2022, expect plenty more updates about Aquaman 2 to arrive, perhaps even courtesy of Momoa himself. As he clears his throat, it's interesting because Shazam! Fury of the Gods shot very quickly. The only long shoot out of all the DCEU movies coming out next year is Flash. That was a really extremely long shoot. So that's interesting. Now, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom started, when did it start? In June, July, August, September, October. So that was actually a 4 or 5 month shoot. So that's pretty long as well. So it's not like it's being rushed to a point, but everything's, let me tell you what I feel about all of this. I feel that they want these films completed and ready to go. They don't want anything to spoil that. These films are not going to be stopped by Discovery coming in, but they want to market these films. They want these films ready to go so they can show Discovery that their vision for the DC Extended Universe is fit for purpose. Well, Warner Brothers Pictures won't make the final decision on that. Neither will Zaslav and Discovery. We'll make the final decision on that. We will see if next year's movies are good enough through the box office and our reactions to them. Here's more Black Adam hype for you, and this film is really being hyped up more than the other DC Extended Universe movies. It's interesting, isn't it? Black Adam will disrupt the superhero movie genre, says director. Black Adam director Jaime Collet-Serra says Dwayne Johnson's live-action DC Extended Universe debut will disrupt the superhero movie genre. By Josh Planissi of Screen Rant. Black Adam director Jaime Collet-Serra says Dwayne Johnson's live-action DC Extended Universe debut will disrupt the superhero movie genre. Johnson has been attached to the role of Tef Adam, Black Adam, for almost a decade, teasing how his character will redefine the hierarchy of power in the DCEU. After a Nix cameo in 2019 Shazam plus COVID-related production complications, Collet-Serra's Black Adam origin film will finally introduce the character to the big screen next year. Black Adam is one of the most powerful characters in all of the DC lore and therefore should be a definitive character in the DCEU as an Egyptian slave who is granted superpowers by the ancient wizard Shazam. Adam begins with decent enough intentions before his hunger for power leads to him becoming similar to those who enslaved him. Ultimately, this positions him as the arch nemesis of the superhero Shazam and eventually an anti-hero. Collet-Serra's film will likely adapt the dark side of his mythology while introducing a slew of characters to combat and possibly meet their demise at the hands of Johnson's character. The first Black Adam footage was unveiled during DC Fandom 2021 and teased Adam in modern day doing just that. By the way, the footage we saw, it looks really good. I don't think anyone's had anything negative to say about it. In a recent interview with Total Film magazine, Collet-Serra talked about Black Adam and how it will disrupt the superhero movie genre. Audiences have been anticipating Johnson's superpowered hero for quite some time, and the director teases that it will be worth the wait. According to Collet-Serra, when Black Adam takes on the Justice Society of America in his solo outing, he will be disruptive. He will be a disruptive force. Read what Collet-Serra had to say below. Black Adam is a disruptor in the DC Comics world, and it has to be a disruptor in the way that we make a superhero movie. I like to be challenged, and I wanted to create new technology, so we developed the way that Adam moves, the way that he flies, his costume, and then it trickled down to every other character and the movie itself. But there was always the goal to be new and unique in the storytelling in every aspect of it. If this works out, this film, and I suspect that it will, Sarah, is that how you say his name? Sarah, whatever, however you say the man's name right, if this is an awesome film, could be getting a lot more offers and direct a lot more movies in the DC Extended Universe. Maybe even Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman movie. Interesting. In the past, Johnson has teased Black Adam's massive scale and also elaborated on the film's use of cutting-edge technology. The actor previously shared a photo of himself having tracking dots placed on him, so VFX teams can track his muscle fibers during the action scene. Along with the post, Johnson explained how the cameras being used on set can shoot him at an impressive 960 frames per second. Jesus Christ. Far higher than the usual 24 FPS movies use. All of this is meant to put the Black Adam's powers of flight, super speed and strength on display like no superhero movie has done before. Wow! If the hype is to be believed, Black Adam should revolutionise the way superpowers are portrayed on screen and allow Adam to truly redefine the hierarchy of power. While telling Adam's origin story, Black Adam, which wrapped filming back in July, will introduce Sarah Shahi as Adam's wife, Adriana Tomaz. It will also bring in the Justice Society of America in Pierce Brosnan, Dr. Fate, Aldis Hodge, Hawkman, Noah Centineo, Atom Smasher, and Quintessa Swindell, Cyclone. In the above interview, Collet-Serra went on to praise the JSA's dynamic as well as the ability to combat Adam, from the team veterans like Dr. Fate and Hawkman to novices like Atom Smasher and Cyclone. Even though these heroes likely won't be a match for Adam, that conflict should facilitate an interesting arc leading into future possible Black Adam films and battles with heroes like Superman and Shazam. But you're not speaking about a deeper potential here. The deeper potential is that the Justice Society of America are being set up in this movie. It means they can have other cameos in DC Extended Universe movies. They can have their own HBO Max streaming series, or they can have their own set of movies. You can have your own Dr. Fate series. Dr. Fate is one of the most fascinating, really fascinating, compelling characters in the DC Extended Universe and comic book genre in general. So there's so much potential here. I didn't actually have knowledge about this new technology they're using until I read this with you now. I don't pre-read the articles, as you can probably see, but it's amazing. And it means we're going to see some amazing things in this movie. I like new technology in film. I love VFX. I love great VFX. But more important than that to me is that these comic book characters are done justice within the writing and the storytelling. And I'll tell you something for nothing, I'm getting more and more hyped for this movie. This could be one of the best films of 2021. Make it so. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.